Hi everyone. How are you doing? Pulling up all my information here. Hey Justice 4. Hey Megan Spurdy. Hey Leah. How's everyone doing? Do you have lots of thoughts, Justice 4? Hey, Casey. I know Casey has lots of thoughts on this. So I'm going to do a live as we are right now. And then I did get your email. Yes, I actually am going to go over some of that. If that's okay with you, I was going to go over some of that. I have some of my own lovely notes here. And then I've got Casey's email here. And I've got my monster here. And my child is supposed to be taking a nap right now. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let me pull him up real quick. Let's see here. I know people joke with me. I don't get on the camera a lot. So, hey, here I am. I'm a live person. Of course, Woodland Park Underground would go live. Yeah, my little one's supposed to be napping. He's not napping right now, but, you know, it is what it is, so. I am good. Thanks, Megan Spurdy. Thanks for joining, everyone. Oh, thanks, Leah. I'm look at my hair. I was like trying to get myself together, and I'm like, you know, I just screw it. Like, freaking mom life, right? It is what it is. Like, I'm pretty much, my husband gets so mad at me. I like live and run on, oh, you can't see it. Here we go. My monster. I love these freaking things. Yeah, my child still. Let's see. I'm gonna show you guys. Can you guys see this? Yeah. You see this little turkey? He's just sitting there. He's supposed to be napping. He's just sitting there instead. So, you know. What is he doing? Sometimes he, like, I'll give him a drink. He handed me his cup just a minute ago before I came on live. And I was filling it back up because he wanted something in there. He's been obsessed with coconut water lately. It's the craziest thing. But sometimes he gets upset. Hold on. You know what? Hang on 1 second. 1 sec. Andrew Jameson. You better not be doing what I think you're doing. Stop that. So silly. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. My child was trying to get his cup all over the freaking place, like his milk, and I gave him milk instead of coconut water, and he apparently doesn't like that. Hey Carla, how are you? Hey Crime Con. Hey Annabelle, hey everybody, thank you so much for joining. So I want to kind of go over some of my thoughts on Dr. Phil. I was talking about what I kind of had in mind, I guess you could say. Yesterday I was going to do this live with the hubby, and it was just a really long day, so we decided to push that off. I think what I'm going to do the live now. I want to hear everybody's thoughts. I want to see what you guys are thinking on kind of what might have happened to Karlie, and kind of get some of your theories and find out if your mind has changed a little bit, because I know mine. Okay, awesome. I'm going to check that. Here, you know what? I'm actually going to pull it up on my computer. I know my mind has, there are some things that were kind of confirmed, and there were other things that I found even more suspicious and interesting. And sorry about that. I want to see what you guys think as well. So let me pull this up. I may go live after this as well. I want to keep this separate, but I may also go live later. I pulled up this tab and it made me think of it. There was an Illinois County prosecutor who was slain in a Wisconsin home by her ex-husband just a few days ago, and I want to kind of look into that as well. So that made me think of that. So I may go live. If my little one will nap, I may do a live after this. But let me pull up. I've got like 400 tabs open, so give me just a second here. Okay, cool. I see your second one. I'm going to look at that too. All right, awesome. So you guys, this is kind of going to be... Hey, Laura. I just want to tell everybody that, one, this is a disclaimer. These are my thoughts, opinions, and what I have seen based on the Facebook Lives that I've gone over, and I've seen based on the Nancy Grace interview, some of the news articles, in addition to Dr. Phil, the first and second episode. These are just my thoughts. I don't want anyone to think that I'm accusing anybody of anything. I'm just throwing out some theories and want to get some conversation started. Another thing that we're going to do is do a second part. We did a Karlie Guse video a few days ago. We released that on Friday evening. That was me and Upgrade, my husband. And we are going to do a part 2 based on what we know now. So be looking for that. We're probably going to record this weekend. He actually is working really late tonight. It's getting into his busy season at work right now. So we may have to wait till this weekend. I'd love to get it done tomorrow, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So be looking out for that. Definitely in the next few days. Secondly, I want to tell you that this information that I'm going to go over is my thoughts, in addition to what you guys are throwing out, in addition to the 2 emails that I just received from my lovely Casey. Hi, Little Miss Vegas. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so and give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And I'd love to hear your theories. So while I'm going over this, I would love for you to, I'm not going to read them out right away, but I am going to go over all of this information first. I want you guys to kind of type out your theories. Let me know what you guys think. And then I am going to read those out after I've gone over my information and all of that as well. So it also kind of gives you some time to hear what I think. My husband has kind of given me some of his thoughts as well. And again, Casey has, this is Casey's case, you guys. Like, this is, I talk to her all the time about this, and this is definitely her case. And she's provided some great insight. And actually, one of the screens I'm going to go over is provided to me by Casey. It's some pictures, and it's my theory, and I think a lot of people are now joining my theory. It's something that I brought up a long time ago, the first time I ever talked about Karlie, I think, and it's just a part of what I think happened, and now I'm kind of putting some pieces together. I have a few theories and a few things that I think might have happened. So thank you to everyone that's joined. Amy, Ashley, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining. I think I've said hi to everybody else. If you don't normally comment and this is something that you're passionate about, I'd love to hear it, because I know that there are people that, you know, some cases really just affect them more than others, and I feel that this is one of those. It's kind of like the Chris Watts thing. We don't have answers, and we kind of want to know what's going on. Actually, we really want to know what's going on. So, with that being said, I have some thoughts. My phone is blowing up. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not getting anything from the hubby or anything. Okay, we're good. Sorry. I've got all kinds of things going on. It's been a mess. So, that's part of the reason why I had to push off this live. All right, so going back to Dr. Phil and some of the things that I thought. I watched these episodes at least twice. Now, I have ADHD. I am like totally all over the place all the time. So, like, again, this is just my information. To anybody that's new to the channel, I actually have been in the field of, I have been a licensed private investigator. I am a former licensed private investigator now. Actually, 26 days ago was the day I had to give up my license. I'm physically disabled now, so it's just, anyway. But I had my license for almost 3 years, and I've contracted with a licensed private investigation company for going on 5 years now. And I have also done a lot of things that pertain to private investigations before I was even contracted with them. I've really been doing things involved with that since 2010. So, with that being said, I do have some experience in this. I have worked on missing persons cases. I know a lot of them don't turn up very well, especially after 48 hours. My best like, I want to just give all of my love, my prayers, and everything to the family. I have actually, if Lindsay ever listens to any of my stuff, or if anybody knows Karlie's biological mother, if she even knows, I doubt that they would want to say anything. But if Melissa or Zach, you know, her stepmother and father would ever want to say anything, then I definitely would give my platform to them as well. But I really would love to talk to Lindsay. I've reached out to her. I know she probably gets bombarded a lot, but I would love to offer my support and my information and all that too. So that being said, if anybody knows, I know that there was someone, I think DJ, actually, I don't know if you're in here or you see this and I know you've contacted her before or been in contact with her. If she ever wants to speak with me, I'd love to talk to her. I know she's very passionate about it. It's her daughter. And you guys, I keep looking down because I'm messing with a feather. So sorry. I told you, ADHD. So some of my thoughts, I'm just going to go based on some of these bullet points that I have laid out. Finally, my son is laying down. All right. So here we go. One of the things that I want to talk about is this audio recording. Casey has talked about this audio recording in the email, I know. So I'm probably going to talk about this twice because I want to go over some of my bullet points and some of the things that I discussed with my husband. And then I want to go over some of the things that Casey thinks as well. Because again, this is the reason that I continue to pursue this is Casey. So Casey, love you. Anyway, all of this. So basically with Dr. Phil, there were some things that the first part was Melissa and Zach. The second part was caffeinate. Girl, I've taken my medicine and Monster. I'm on number 2. My husband hates that I drink them, but whatever. Yeah, they should. Like, I drink 2 a day. I hold on, here we go. Camera. I drink 2 a day. I would love for you to send me Monster. I'll put them on every single one. Mwah. Yeah, it's like my savior. Dude, I have an almost 2-year-old. So there was most of my notes in regards to a lot of this pertain to Zach and Melissa simply because Karlie lived with them at the time. Lindsay did not live there. So, hashtag Monster. I love you, Justice 4. You're adorable. Hey, Christy. And Lindsay obviously couldn't be a part of this because she was so far away. And I'm knocking over everything. Here we go, moisturizer. Would anybody like to sponsor me? No, I'm just kidding. My desk is full of like the most random crap. My son loves feathers. So, most of this is all going to focus on Melissa and Zach and the things that I find interesting because Lindsay has her own suspicions and I actually found some of the things that she said in episode 2 interesting that I'll go over as well. But I didn't actually note that because I already kind of knew what she, was thinking. So, exactly, Amy Ashley, Monster number 2 or Red Bull number 2, right? So one thing that I found interesting is in the very beginning, they refused to provide the audio. There were 2, I don't freaking know, you guys. Like, I've heard that there was an 8-minute recording. I will be 100% honest. Let me move my mic here. I want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. So I read Lindsay's, the biological mom's Facebook quite often because she provides updates and her thoughts and opinions on things, especially since everything has been coming up on Dr. Phil. So it was said that there might have been an 8-minute audio. Then there was also said that it might have been a 23-minute audio. Now we're finding out that maybe there were 2 audios. Really what it was a video, like how you have your phone and you put it on, your camera and you turn on your video, and she put it in her pocket. And she didn't record, what I'm understanding, she didn't record any video at all. It was just simply audio. I don't know how clear it was because she said it was in her pocket. I don't know if that was the truth or not either. She also said that she did it before she went to bed. There's been like 100 different things that have been said, and she just really confuses me. So the biggest thing that I found that was contradicting is they said, well, why, Dr. Phil was like, well, why won't you let me listen to the audio? Or why didn't you give it to us? So at one point they said, well, we don't want everybody and your audience and like the world to know what Karlie was saying, which one doesn't make sense to me, because if you're concerned about your daughter, I would think that you would want the world to know what she was saying, the state of mind that she was in. And like, have you guys seen Wisdom of the Crowd? I don't think it's anything that's coming out for a second season or anything, but my husband brought it up a couple weeks ago, I think, and it's basically like people on social media helping, like what we're doing right now. And Dad with the Phone talks about it all the time. And it's going out here, like, I don't have my private investigation license anymore, but I still have the experience. Just because I don't have that doesn't mean that I can't use my past experience to help. And I still can do that. I can look over information and help people and stuff. And so for them to not want anyone else to hear the audio was just really weird to me. Like, why do you even care? My son is doing, like, flips in his bed. My gosh, I'm sorry. But it just didn't make sense why she didn't want anybody to hear that. And that was one of the excuses. The other excuse was they said they didn't get asked. And they kind of looked at each other, and by they, I mean freaking Melissa and Zach. I almost forgot their names. I was blacking out there. And I can remember so vividly in my mind how they looked at each other like, you know, when you're looking for an answer from somebody? I almost feel like that's what happened in the Nancy Grace interview, because Melissa was talking for Zach a lot. Zach has admitted to drinking that night. I don't know if he drank a lot. I don't know what the scenario was, but it was just interesting. So they kind of like looked at each other, and it made me wonder if they even know what they were talking about, or if they were covering something up. They were very defensive in the interview and the clips and in a lot of things. And the fact that they had more than one excuse, like, I understand if you don't want the public to listen, fine. But then you say, were we even asked? And you act like nobody asked you. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why? Whatever. So, moving on to another one of the inconsistencies is the time that she left. So, what time did she leave, and how does Melissa know this? She says that she woke up at 7:15 and that she was gone. But I have... Let me get all my other notes. Hold on, y'all. This is this is like the war room. So she told Nancy Grace that, let's see, what time did she go to bed? Or what time did she wake up? She said she was in bed with her, and she said that she last saw Karlie at 5:45, and then she said that it was previously said that it was 5:30. It was also said that it was 6:30. Then there's another time where she had said that she woke up, let's see here. This is just the contradicting information, and I'm trying to find the specifics here. Let's see. Okay, she said between 7:15 and 7:30, and she said at 5:45 that she fell back asleep. She said at one point, we're basically getting a time frame of sometime between 5:45 and 7:30 that she disappeared. But there's so many different times that she's given. I don't understand why she's given so many different times. She said she slept different places for different reasons as well. She also said, let me see here, there was another note that I had about what time she left. I know that there's been, here we go. She said that she drove around looking for Karlie with Zach between 7:30 and 9:30. And she also mentioned in at least one interview, if not more than one, or who knows. I mean, there was at least, I think, 30 Facebook Lives, and then the interviews that they did, and she admitted to lying to Dateline and fabricating the story and saying one thing that wasn't true. And she said that she contacted them to try and find out if they can stop the episode, because they said it was too early for them to speak on all of this, and they lied and they wanted it to be pulled. Apparently Dateline said, no, this is already a go, and they went on with it. So I don't understand yeah, we'll get onto that later. So she keeps giving all of these different times, and she did it again on Dr. Phil. So we're not really sure what time she left, and we're not really sure what time she got up and if she left before. So this brings me to my next slide here. My theory, I'm going to get off topic of Dr. Phil here for a second, but my theory is that Melissa, as she says that she was looking for Karlie at one point, and it was early in the morning, and she did it before Zach was made aware that Karlie was missing. And the witnesses, per Melissa on Dr. Phil, told Melissa that they saw Karlie. Witness number 2 or 3 left a voicemail on her phone and said that they had seen her. And witness number 1 was a credible witness, as far as what I understand, as he was somebody who used to be a sheriff for, I think, the LAPD, and he was retired. But the thing is he was in a jacuzzi, and I think it was like in a glass room or something. And he was how far off the street? I mean, she wasn't like straggling in his yard or anything. So was it really Karlie? So my theory from the very beginning, when I saw all of this and heard what was going on, is that Melissa went out looking for Karlie, air quotes here, because she was trying to put it out there that she was trying to gain sightings of somebody. So the reason why I have these pictures here, I'm actually going to blow these up one by one, and these are courtesy of Casey. So Casey, thank you. This is Melissa, second to the right, and this is Karlie, second to the left. If you are, say, 30, 40, 50 feet away, not exactly sure, maybe 20 feet away, it's 6:30 in the morning, there was a live video that was done by Melissa, and it was at approximately the exact same time that this sighting happened. So my question is, did these witnesses see Melissa? Did Melissa go looking for Karlie to make it look like that was actually Karlie? This is just a theory. So this is one picture. You can see that their body type, I mean, Karlie's super tiny, but from afar and when it's dark in the morning, I mean, their height is pretty close. Their overall, I mean, body shape, they said that she was in a t-shirt and she was in sweatpants. So, I mean, those things aren't necessarily form-fitting. You see here Melissa, she's to the left, obviously, right next to Zach. She's pretty tiny as well. And then here is, let me put this to the front. Look at them. So I'm looking at some of these questions. I know that I said that I would go back and I would listen to them later, but I want to address something that's in the chat right now because it's a really, really, really good point. Hi, Mimi. I want to say hi, and anybody else that's joined. Penguin, thank you for joining, everybody. So they basically said, I've heard different versions. Just got some in my mouth. I've heard different versions of maybe what had happened. I have heard that the police had followed up and they had confirmed these sightings and witnesses, and it was believed to their best knowledge that it actually was Karlie. But then on Dr. Phil, she basically said that one of the witnesses called her and left her a voicemail. And the other witness told her, I think when she was out looking for Karlie. And then this third witness, I don't even know where they come into play. But one of these witnesses was a teacher, I think, or a retired teacher maybe. The other one was a retired LAPD sheriff. And again, those people are usually credible. And I'm not saying that they are trying to cover up something necessarily. what I think is that maybe Melissa was trying to cover up something. She possibly went out looking for Karlie because she has thrown that out there. She put herself out there. She also said Karlie would never go out in sweatpants, yet these sightings of her were of her in sweatpants. So she's contradicted herself on a number of different occasions, and if you're wearing a t-shirt and you're wearing, these sweatpants, it's very hard, I think, to tell exactly who it would have been. I mean, especially from far away. You can assume or you could think that it might be somebody, but I don't think that there's a way for them to tell specifically. So in one article I read that at least somebody in the sheriff's department was able to talk to these people and confirm that. But then again, what I heard yesterday is that they were contacting Melissa directly, and she did not say that the cops followed up on that. So I'm really not sure what, I really don't know. And the witnesses, yeah, exactly, Casey. The witnesses are not at fault at all. They're doing the best that they can, and they're trying to help. What I'm trying to say, and what I think all of you guys understand, is that I think maybe somebody else was trying to cover up something and trying to make these witnesses believe something else. So that is just a theory of mine. So going back to some of my notes here is, I'll pull myself back up here. And I'm going to get back to your comments as well here in a minute. So some of the other things that I found interesting was she admitted to lying about the clothing in the very beginning. She assumed basically that she was wearing what she would have wore the night before, even though she went to bed in something different. So she would have, and she as in Melissa, would honestly have no idea what she was wearing unless she saw Karlie leaving and saw her at some point in the process of leaving. So if she didn't see her leaving, how would she have any idea what she was wearing? And why would she automatically assume? This is one thing that really bothers Grady. He gets upset because he's like, why would you automatically put out false information within the first few days? I love it. He's like taking on from like things that I would say and things that I would do. But it's true. Like, why would you want to put out any false or misleading information, especially in the beginning? Because it's so important that we know what she's wearing. If you say she's wearing one thing, what did the witnesses, the witnesses are the ones that basically came out and said she was wearing something different. So, again, was that even Karlie? I don't know. There was another thing that stood out to me, and that was that law enforcement was treating this as a runaway still. So, I don't really understand. It kind of seems like they might not be taking this seriously, or they are working behind the scenes and they have a different theory and they don't want to blow their cover. Because I have seen a lot of times when law enforcement has an idea of what's going on, you have to have so much evidence. And if you don't have that evidence, you can only hold somebody for questioning for so long. And if you don't have enough evidence or they don't confess in that time, you have to let them go. And they could run, they could flee, they could do something to themselves, they could do something to somebody else. There's a lot of things that could happen. So sometimes they have to remain cool. Like in the Kelsey Barrett case, we didn't know a whole lot until the very end. And then, we kind of suspected some things. We had our own theories. We kind of knew what was going on. And then we found out a lot when some of that evidence was released and when he started going to court. So I think that maybe I really don't think that they're treating this just as a runaway. That's my opinion, you guys. That's simply my opinion. So take it for what it is. But I think that they are looking at it as a little bit more than that. They also admitted that, and this was Melissa and Zach, they were trying to describe how Karlie was acting. And someone had said that she looked like she had seen a ghost. And that she was acting really paranoid. She basically wasn't acting like someone who had just smoked marijuana. And eventually, they decided that they were going to let Dr. Phil listen to the recording. They did this, little, do-do-do-do kind of thing. You had to, sit there and, wait for them to listen to the recording. I don't know how much of it he actually listened to. I think they might have cut some of that time out because, again, it was said that there was 8 minutes. There's been said that there was 23 minutes, and the 23 minutes came from Lindsay herself. That was something that came from her Facebook page. So I'm not exactly sure how much he listened to, but Dr. Phil said that he had a lot of experience in people that are on drugs, and it was his opinion that she was not just on marijuana, or she had not just smoked marijuana, and that maybe it was something else, and there was a little bit more to that. There was also something that I found interesting, is that the perception of if she was saying, I need you to call 911, and that's Karlie saying that, or if she was asking if I needed it and something was really wrong, would you call 911? Again, we have not heard this audio. We basically heard Dr. Phil's side, we heard Lindsay's side, we heard Melissa and Zach's side, and then we heard a private investigator's side, and that private investigator was hired independently by Lindsay. And even the private investigator said, like, Lindsay basically says that she wanted her to call 911 and she was refused 911. And I think that was just how she interpreted that recording. Again, she wasn't there. She didn't see how she was acting. She's only hearing this after the fact, and it was that morning when she got there when she realized Karlie was missing. The private investigator said, no, it wasn't that. And same with Dr. Phil. They're like, no, she didn't say, I need you to call 911. It was more, if I needed it, would you call 911? It's kind of interesting that they even did this audio, because it's almost like a shaming kind of thing is what they made it out to be. They said that they were going to have her listen to it and have her see how she was acting. But they didn't record, and this was Melissa, she didn't record how she was acting. She only recorded her voice. So you only get part of the picture. You're not understanding her body language and what she is doing. And if she really looked like she had seen a ghost, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of discreet ways that she could have filmed her. And if she was really that messed up, she wouldn't have noticed anyway. So I'm not really sure what happened with that. One thing that I actually was pretty bummed that I didn't mention in our last recording for Karlie was the fact that Melissa had said on at least one occasion that she was texting the boyfriend of Karlie. And at one point she said this was not on Dr. Phil. This was in something that was independent from that. And she said something along the lines of pray for Karlie, which was really weird. So these text messages were brought up again, but Melissa said that she was texting a friend of Karlie. She didn't say that it was Donald, the boyfriend. I think that's his name. She said it was just a friend. So that was really interesting to me. She also said that those texts basically said, what did you smoke? The response was weed. And the last text was at 5:48 in the morning, and that's when she had fallen asleep. There was different stories on possibly Zach waking up at some point as well. And it might have been around 3 a.m. But again, he had been drinking too. And if Karlie was really on something, like I've seen people on different things. And where I live, people are overdosing over here all the time. Like I swear, you just see them walking down the street sometimes. You're like, what in the hell are you doing? There's people that, like, when you're on something, you can be distracted if you're paying attention to them. You're trying to prevent them from hurting themselves. You're trying to prevent them from doing something stupid. You're trying to keep them in the house. You're trying, there's different things. But it was just weird how all of that went about. And then it was brought up that Zach came in and the lights were on and that Melissa and Karlie were wide awake and it was 3 a.m. And that's been stated on a number of different occasions. So one thing that, since that was stated, they were wide awake, they've been awake, and Melissa stated that the last text to her friend was at 5:48, and she fell asleep. She said then she woke up at 7:15, and that's when she all of a sudden realized Karlie was gone and started freaking out. She's 16 years old. Like, she could have gone to the bathroom. It's a house. She could have gone somewhere else. But she said that, like, immediately when she woke up and she realized Karlie wasn't there, she started freaking out. again, we're not sure where she even was. I don't know if she was in Karlie's bed. I don't know if she said that she had fallen asleep at some point prior, not on Dr. Phil, but on like Nancy Grace or something, on one of these interviews. She said that she had fallen asleep prior and woke up, and she checked on the boys, she checked on Karlie, and then she went back to bed. I think that's what she said that she lied about on Dateline. So, again, there's a lot of different stories, and I'm not really sure what's going on. Zach says that he believes that she's alive and that Melissa didn't do anything to Karlie. It leads me to wonder if maybe Melissa didn't do anything to Karlie, and I'm not saying that she did. Excuse me, I'm not saying that she did, but maybe Karlie really did take something, and maybe she had overdosed. Again, that happens all the time here. Like the day I found out I was pregnant, I was in the hospital, and there were 8 people that came in at one time, and they had OD'd, and a lot of them were being brought in ambulances, and then more came in right after that. I think there was like a total of 11 that had come in like an hour or two, and it was crazy. Like I was sitting there waiting on all of this stuff that was going on, and you can see how some of these people act and stuff. So if she really did OD, if she was used to smoking, you know, marijuana occasionally, and if something really was laced, then this could have been why she was freaking out. And it doesn't take, depending on what it was that it was laced with, it could have been something that it wouldn't have taken a lot for her to die. But the thing is that a lot of the times when you're going to OD, in my understanding and in the research that I've done, is if it's like a narcotic or something, usually it's not taking it at one time. It's completely different. Like you take, like you can OD on Tylenol and stuff too, and it's not usually just one dose of the Tylenol. It's taking it too often and too much at one time over a certain period of time. Your body ingests that, and then it gets depending on how your body like produces that and gets it out of your body, there's a different time for each drug, and depending on how much she had taken in of whatever it was would depend. But it's different when it's with opioids and with like things that you ingest that way versus things that you smoke, or if for any reason something would have been injected. She would have OD'd way earlier because she was picked up at 9 o'clock, or I'm sorry, they got home back to Melissa and Zach's house at approximately 9 o'clock. She was picked up prior to that, and it was said by her boyfriend and I think some of her friends that she was acting weird for a period of time before she had even contacted Melissa. So she would have ingested these drugs prior. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe between 7:30 and 8, maybe even earlier. And there's a recording of her sometime before 5:30 a.m. in the morning. And she's still alive. So if she OD'd, we're thinking time here. I mean, unless she did another drug in that time or had more of it in that period of time, or unless it was an opioid that had been built up in her system over a period of time, I just don't see how that could happen. Again, I could be totally wrong, but I don't know. Like, yeah, I see Jenny in here saying that spice could have been it, and she says that could slow progression, and that's definitely a possibility. I've seen that affect people differently as well. I've seen it not affect someone, and then I've seen it affect someone completely different. But I just find it interesting that it took that long. Like, if she would have OD'd, it just seems like to me, it seems like that would be a long time. So it just leads me to question maybe what it was that she had taken. It's also been said that whatever marijuana this was tested. But unless you have Karlie and you could test Karlie, and now, okay, there's only one way we would even be able to know what Karlie had in her system right now, because she's been missing for 4 months. So if she's still alive, we would have no idea what she was on. It would be out of her system. There would be no way to pinpoint what she was on that day. Unfortunately, if she is not alive, then you would be able to tell depending on when she was killed, or when she died, or when she OD'd. You would be able to tell what was in her system at that time. Depending on where she was, I mean, like, people had said that they saw her, or at least one person said that they saw her by a main highway, and it was suggested that in the opposite direction or in another direction around that highway that there was a lot of desert land. I mean, she could have wandered off, but I don't see why she would have done that, because she wanted to be so close, and she was so stressed about having Melissa stay with her the whole night and keeping her occupied because she was freaking out. So it just leads me to my other point. Lindsay doesn't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't know exactly. Lindsay thinks that maybe in episode 2 we learned that Lindsay thinks that she might have OD'd, and that maybe Melissa and Zach might have tried to cover it up. I'm not 100% sure about that. That was something that I found interesting, because I didn't think that that was Lindsay's theory. She's very open and outspoken about how she feels about Melissa. If you go to her Facebook page, I mean, you can just see it. And she's very outspoken that they know what happened to her. You can tell that, I don't know, Zach might have been on something, or maybe it was just alcohol, but it kind of seems like on a number of different occasions in some of these interviews, like Nancy Grace and stuff, I think he might have been under the influence. Now, there's no judgment here. This might have just been how he was handling things. Like, Melissa and Zach are kind of judgmental against Lindsay because of how she handled things. They say she came into town. They say that she didn't help look. She basically sat paralyzed on their couch, and then she left. And Lindsay's version of that is, I was paralyzed by how I was feeling. Like, I didn't know what to do. And the cops were already looking. I don't think she was familiar with that area. I could be wrong. But she lived hours away, and this wasn't her territory. So there's different ways that you can perceive all of their actions, all three of them. So it leads me to some more actions that the crocodile tears. I feel like in some of Melissa's videos and in her, like, she's like, "You're accusing me of murder? Are you serious?" She, like, acts like she's crying, and she squints her face, and she tries to, like, get you to believe it, but there's nothing there. And I just don't understand why people have to do this. So I have a note about exactly what she lied about on Dateline too. So she said that she lied about checking in on Karlie, and that she lied to Dateline. She said it was basically too soon to do the interview, like I had said before, and she was trying to retract it. So I just want to throw that in there. I know it's kind of off topic of what I was, talking about then. But then another note again, in one of her Facebook Lives, she said she was missing at 6:30. If she went to bed at 5:48 and didn't wake up until 7:15, how in the world does she know she was missing at 6:30? So, you see what I'm getting at here? These are just some of my thoughts. I want to bring the hubby in and have a full-on conversation and episode about what he thinks, and have kind of that back and forth episode. And I also want to bring up, hey everyone that's joined, I'm going to go over in just a minute. I have an email to look at. I actually have two, and these are some theories and some thoughts on maybe what had happened. I mentioned before that they are coming from my lovely girl Casey, and she's in this chat as well. She's been helping me with this, and she's really entwined in this case. And so some of her thoughts are, what might be going on with Zach and Melissa? Is there some sort of alcohol problem or drug problem, kind of like I brought up as well? It's been mentioned on more than one occasion that Zach was drinking that night, which is fine. I mean, he has older kids. What does it matter? But the way that they were acting, I mean, he said that he had a few beers, and it seems like they either blacked out a lot of things. This is me talking here, not Casey. But there was a lot that just kind of goes into that. And I think that might be why she's saying that and asking that. There's something, she says, I can't pinpoint exactly what gave me the feeling, but it's something that I can't ignore. And she wonders if it's accurate. And I absolutely agree. And maybe is Zach an alcoholic? Because when you're an alcoholic, again, this is me talking here, you build up your tolerance. So it takes more and more alcohol to mess you up. And it makes me wonder, maybe how much he would have drank or something. So that also leads us to believe maybe what they might have been on. if anything. I don't know. And some of these, like, sometimes people, when they go through crisis, you'll hear of people being sedated through trauma and stuff. A lot of times people are given some sort of anti-anxiety medication, and that can make people in an altered state. So it might have been something that, you know, they're going through a lot right now, and they were given something by a doctor to kind of make them feel better. That's a possibility as well. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. She said that she feels like there could have been a few different things that she might have been on during some of the videos that she was posting last year on Facebook as well. And she still stands firmly behind the fact that Melissa definitely knows more than what she's willing to share. And I agree as well, especially when they're going, like, looking back at each other, and she's just so defensive, like her body language. And if you truly want to find her and you don't have anything to hide, I don't understand why you're being like that. So Karlie, or I read Karlie's name and I'm referring to Casey. Casey brings up a great point here. She wants to know more about the little brothers that were in the home, and if they might have been asking, if they might have been asked questions by the cops. I also want to know maybe if they were rehearsed prior, if they were asked or they were questioned, if they were questioned after they had the ability to talk to Melissa and Zach, and if they were fed something. Because, and I mean fed something like as in like a line of BS or something, because there's been a number, again, of different versions of what's happened. And at one point, I think Melissa said that she was like going to take a shower or going to do something. And she said that the boys were out in the living room, and then the boys went to bed. And when she got done doing whatever it was that she was doing, she came back and the boys were in bed. But then in another version of what she said that the boys were, like, when she got done doing whatever it was that she was doing, the boys were back in the living room watching TV. So I don't know if they ever left, if they were awake. That's like really late at night for them to be awake. I know it was a weekend night, so maybe it was just, you know, a one-off kind of thing, but it's really interesting. And I know that there's a different way to question kids versus questioning adults, and it depends on what age they are. A lot of times if they're questioned, though, it has to be with the approval of their legal guardian. So I'm not sure if they were questioned, and I would really like to know a little bit more of that as well. If anybody knows anything about that, please chat that. I would like to know for sure. And another thing that that Casey brings up is in regards to the brothers, and if they were able to confirm Karlie acting abnormally. And that is such a great point. And she's asking about the events prior to them going to bed and kind of what happened and what in fact did take place. So those are some great questions. I told you, Casey is on it with this case. Like, she probably knows more about this, like, ×2 than I do. And she's great. So this is something that I have no idea. So Casey, if you wouldn't mind explaining this a little bit more, maybe you did in the second email, but apparently there is a key around Melissa's neck, and she's mentioned that it's the key to finding Karlie. And it's a key to some sort of treasure box, and that would be where she would be found. Yeah, what does that mean? And Casey said it gave her chills. And yeah, was that on Dr. Phil? Did I miss that? I watched those episodes twice, and I was taking notes, so I could have missed something, but that's messed up. What do you guys think? Put a 1 if that's creepy. I put a 1 if that's creepy, because seriously, that's creepy. What does that mean? I don't know. So now Casey brings up Karlie's phone, and if she did get paranoid and walk out, it might have been because she came to. So she snapped out of whatever kind of drug, she was in, and she left out of fear of being punished, which is definitely a possibility. She said the reason that she might have left her phone is because she didn't have access to it. Maybe Melissa took it. She has said that she had access to it. She said that she knows her passcode and that she had the ability to look at it, and that she in fact did look at it before police did. So maybe she didn't even have access to her phone at that point. And Casey's saying maybe it was a punishment for her being on whatever drug it was, or lying maybe to her parents about where she was. So these are just some theories, and dude, Casey, you are on it. This is Yes. So Casey does believe that Karlie OD'd and that Melissa flipped out because she didn't call for help and she just let her die. And that maybe Melissa freaked out and hid her body. That's definitely a possibility. I mean, Lindsay, her mother even said, her biological mother even said she thinks she OD'd. So that's a possibility. I don't understand why it would have to come to all of this if that's what happened. I just don't understand why, like, it's March and she went missing months ago and we still don't have any idea where she is. She says she truly believes that although Karlie didn't come out and ask Melissa to call 911, she does believe that she was trying to get her to call 911. She might not have been asking directly, but if she really was under some sort of drug influence, she might not have been using the right wording. She may have really been in some sort of panic, and she says that she does believe that Karlie, in fact, thought that she was dying, and that's definitely a possibility. She says that she gets a very strong vibe that maybe Melissa and Zach could have been or may still be some sort of alcoholics or addicts, and that there may have been some sort of drug addiction or alcoholic tendencies with Zach. And she mentions in a number of different occasions his teeth. That's not something that I would normally bring up or anything, but as I brought up this picture right here, if you guys see Dr. Phil, you will understand what we're talking about. So you see, I'm going to blow this up really big. Now, he could have been in an accident. He could have had something happen to him. But this picture was from 2012. It's obviously 7 years later. But he looks like he has all of his front teeth right here. If you look from any of the promos that get close enough to his face, sorry guys, I don't mean to like be messing with your eyes or anything. I'm going to move this actually. So if you look at like any of the close-ups of his face, you actually see that it almost looks like one is completely chipped off or one is missing. I am far from perfect mouth over here, so I'm not hating on anybody, and I know Casey isn't either. But it brings up a good point because there are a lot of drug addicts where, like, when you are heating up drugs in your mouth or, like, if you're smoking something, it's really bad on your teeth. That is like direct heat and a lot of heat on your teeth, and you can see that it distorts, and it even distorts your facial features and things like that. So it's just interesting. So there was another thing that was mentioned in this email from Casey, that it was reported that possibly Melissa woke up at 5:30 to take Karlie's little brothers to her brother's house. And why would she do that? I had heard maybe it would have been later, but again, I think we've heard like 4 or 5 different times and scenarios for everything that's been thrown out there. So she wants to know again why she recorded the audio, like what I went over as well, and basically more information, almost exactly what I went over as well. So that's some of her thoughts as far as like why wouldn't she record her? Why couldn't we get a sample of it? Is there like what is going on? So she says in response to Melissa's not calling 911 claims, she claims, why would I take her to the hospital if it was just weed? And that's what she told Lindsay as soon as Lindsay got there or something, or as soon as Lindsay heard the recording. And on Dr. Phil, both her and Zach claim that they knew right away it wasn't just weed that she had done. So why were they lying? Again, there's a lot of lies. And she says here, the lies are just out of control. And they think that it's okay, and law enforcement just really doesn't seem to care. So Casey sent me another email, and she said that there are 2 audios, which even Melissa has said. Sorry, got a monster. So one, Melissa cut down to 8 minutes, and one is the full 24 minutes long. There is someone who has... Okay, there is someone who was apparently at the live show. She says that he only listened to 2 minutes of the audio. So I was thinking maybe Dr. Phil listened to all of it, and they're just kind of like, you know, just taking that 8 minutes or 23 minutes and cutting it down to this so we don't have to sit there and stare at him, you know, listening to audio. And it appears that he was only allowed to listen to 2 minutes of audio. So not even the full 8 minutes that Melissa cut down to. And even Dr. Phil asked Melissa if it was only a memo because it was so short. And apparently, you seem to not know that Melissa had her attorney on the phone through the show. So, wow. Okay, so like, did she have some sort of like earpiece in and her attorney was like in her ear? Or did they have some sort of phone call that she kept going like back and forth? I know they do editing in these shows. I know that it's not like, we don't see everything that happened. We don't see the bloopers. We don't see the outtakes. We don't see when they get upset and freak out. I mean, sometimes we do, but they can't air everything. So, I don't know. And also, the private investigator and retired homicide detective, I think she's saying that was hired by Melissa, would he risk his reputation by lying on national television? Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, when you're licensed as a licensed private investigator, some states don't require it. My state did. It still does. And I just don't have it anymore, again, because I'm disabled. But there are a lot of states you have to jump through hoops. And, like, you can't have any kind of false accusations against you. It's really hard. You have to be licensed and insured and bonded. And you can't just make a fool of yourself. You're not a police officer, you're not an attorney, but you're someone who's an advocate for someone, and you're to get to the truth, and you have to use the information that you have in a professional manner, and you can't, like, there are standards that you have to abide by. So there's no reason for him to go on TV and, like she said, ruin his reputation at all. There was a body language expert who was on Dr. Phil a few weeks before the Chris Watts case was airing, I guess, and she was working with Lindsay, and I guess they were on the show at some point. And this was somebody named Susan Constantine. And sorry, guys, I'm not really good at scripted stuff, so I'm literally just reading from this email, and I'm going to discuss this with you guys and your theories as well. But I wanted to make sure I got out everything that Casey thinks, because she just knows so much about this. And this person who's a body language expert, I've taken classes, but I'm by no means an expert. And she said that she even agrees that Melissa is suspicious. She said on account of Melissa's attorney, she wasn't allowed to speak. They also cut out a portion from an investigator because of Melissa's attorney. Also, as you can see, there's a Facebook group that I guess Melissa has maybe. And they admitted yesterday that they pre-approved all the questions asked on the show. So that's very interesting for sure. She says the truth will come out. I can assure you, and I agree for sure. And it says that the only thing that the 2-minute audio proved was that Melissa lied to Karlie. The parents admit that they knew that she was on something more than weed, yet denied it all the way up to the show, yet didn't call 911. They admitted in text 9 hours later that Karlie still wasn't okay, yet still didn't call 911. They knew she was missing for over 2 hours, yet still didn't call 911 to help Karlie. Lindsay had to tell them to call. Melissa didn't even tell the boyfriend, even though she was texting him throughout the night. So basically, she lied to poor Karlie, saying she would call 911 but never did, and Karlie would still be here now if it weren't for her lies. And to make matters worse, she's lied a ton of times about a multitude of things, and I agree. So that's my take on things. Those are just some of Casey's notes and kind of what she thinks. I also want to make sure that I go through and Casey and I may do a live sometime in the near future. That's my goal, because she has a lot of great information, and I'd love to discuss this with you guys and her involved. So that's cool. Okay, so Casey isn't in the chat anymore. She had a client come in, and that's totally cool. So I'm just going back to through the chat here, because I asked for everybody's theories, and I want to know what you guys think, especially after all of that information and everything that we went over. So Amy says, I think the dad and stepmom are innocent after the Dr. Phil episode. I wonder how good the dogs are that used to search for her, because I feel it's likely she wandered off into the desert. That's a good theory. Let's see here. Leah says Monsters on sale at Costco. I don't have a Costco close to me, really. Oh my goodness. So we're talking about all our caffeine lovers here. So people are saying, like, Megan's Birdie says they were acting so weird, and I agree, they were acting so weird for sure. Amy says, is anyone drilling the other kids about what the hell she smoked? Did anyone else trip out? Exactly. I would like to know that too. It kind of seemed like her boyfriend, I think his name, what is it, Ronald or Donald? I think it's like Donald something the third. He seemed to at least comprehend reality. He had told Melissa, is my understanding, how she was acting, and there were a lot of different, again, accusations, and different theories and different stories about what it was. So I would be absolutely curious to know what they might have experienced and how they might have been acting as well, because it was said, I don't know if this is fact, but it was said that that marijuana that they had smoked was tested. But again, it might not have been. Hold on, my kid's crying. 1 second. 1 second. What's wrong, baby doll? Alright, you guys, I guess my child is back to not napping, or napping at his convenience. He is not having it right now. Yeah, I have no idea what in the world is going on here. Alright. Alright, let me see here. I'm going back to the comments and said... Okay, so Casey said that, this was before she had a client come in. She says, and I quote, "It's not like the audio is going to help solve anything anyway." Are you serious right now? I totally, yeah, that's crazy. CrimeCon says, Casey then she knows exactly what was on the audio and doesn't want to incriminate herself. Sorry guys, my lips are like super chapped. I haven't been feeling good, and when I don't feel good, my throat hurts and stuff, my lips get super chapped, so you got to deal with me on camera today because people like to see this. Not really, but yeah, I don't, whatever. People don't think I'm real sometimes, so I figured I'd go on. All right, let's see here. So Casey says that Zach was passed out drunk by 8 p.m. that night. And you know what's really weird is that I thought I heard that he came home after the fact and that Melissa wasn't there with Karlie until 9. So that's really interesting to me. I'd like to know when exactly he got there and what was going on when he got there. That could be very telling. Mimi J says the stepmother is hiding something. The sheriff is friends with the stepmother, and so was the patrol officer. They won't let the FBI in, and Dr. Phil only heard 2 minutes of the entire audio. Holy crap, Mimi. Where did you find that out? That's great information. CrimeCon says, I wholeheartedly believe that the stepmother is involved. I don't know what it is, but I believe that there's something going on. Like, it's just not right. The whole situation and how it went down, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And just so you guys know, if my little one doesn't go down for a nap here soon, I give him about an hour to go down for a nap. He seems like he might be getting tired. If he doesn't go down, I may have to cut this short, but we'll see what he does. So I've got him pulled up here. Let's see. Make sure I can check on that little booger. All right, so Amy Ashley says, the only thing I think of if the stepmom is guilty of something is that something she gave her, you know what? I look like an idiot while I'm reading all this stuff, so I'm going to pull myself off here. There we go. Now you don't have to see me look like an idiot while I'm trying to read this stuff. Okay. The only thing that I can think of if the stepmom is guilty of something is maybe she gave her something like Xanax to calm her down, and whatever she gave her mixed with whatever she already took killed her. Amy. Wow. Yes. Okay. So maybe I should have kept myself up here because I was like totally mind blown there. That would have probably been a good facial expression. But yes, because so I was just saying a few minutes ago how this is, again, my opinion. I'm not in the medical field. I just know for a little bit about the, forensics and more about the investigation and criminal side of things. But usually when you're going to OD on something, like if it's injected with you, I mean, it could happen almost simultaneously. You hear of people dying ODing with needles still in their arm. With narcotics and stuff, it depends on how quickly your body breaks down that chemical and stuff, but usually you can, like, okay, I have a lot of pain and I take pain medicine and stuff, and sometimes when I have to take that, I don't take it all the time. I just take it on occasion. I hate this stuff. It makes me feel like I'm car sick, and I absolutely hate it, but because it makes me feel car sick, I can tell when it's kicking in. It starts to take away a little bit of my pain, but it makes me feel like I'm gonna vomit, and it makes my head hurt, and it makes me kind of dizzy, and I really feel like I'm car sick. So you can tell when it's going to hit you and that it's hitting you. And when you're I have no idea what she did. I have not explored the world of drugs. That's just not what I'm into. So I can't really say that I'm an expert in this, but I can tell you from my experience with, like, I've been on a morphine drip because I was in the hospital and I had a back surgery that I never needed, and it's just, I was 21 and it went bad, and there's just a lot that goes into it, and I was hitting that darn button every 8 minutes that I was getting it, and depending on how it is put in your body, what it is depends on how it reacts and how it breaks down in your body. And there's just a lot of things, like I've heard that shrooms can take a lot of time to get out of your body, but I just don't understand, like, there's a metabolic breakdown of, it's how they can find out if you're under the influence by, and it depends on, like, how the breakdown of the drug is. I would sound like an idiot trying to explain it because I understand it, but I'm not enough to explain it. But there's a way that they can find out exactly what was in her system and how it breaks down, and every drug breaks down differently. I just don't see how it could be possible unless, like Amy brought up, that maybe she was under the influence of something else. Maybe she did try to give her something to calm down, and maybe it reacted funny. Maybe she was thinking that it was okay because it doesn't affect her that way or something. I don't know. Mimi says this may have been a head concussion or injury, and that is why they didn't call 911, who really saw her eyes dilated and high on something else. I heard that her boyfriend did, and he also said that she was acting kind of crazy and paranoid. There was a mentioning that Karlie was kind of like wandering out in the middle of the road. I can't remember if that was her boyfriend saying that or her stepmother saying that or a combination of both of them. But he has commented, or at least commented to Melissa on that fact. I can only assume that he's talked to the cops or law enforcement, but if what someone just said was true and that there's some sort of friendship between this, Melissa and or Zach and anybody in the sheriff's department or any responding officers, we might not be getting the full story. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make much sense to me either. Mixed drug toxicity isn't far-fetched, says, I think it's, what is it, Penguin Dew? Hey, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. Mimi, I didn't hear that there was a car accident. Mimi said, so how did she get in a car accident and then have to repair it? I didn't hear that there was a car accident, but I heard that she got her car detailed. There, again, has been a number of different times that she might have done that. I've heard that she did it 3 days after Karlie went missing, and I heard that she did it the day she went missing. I'm not really sure which one's true, but that's apparent. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be giving a shit about my car getting detailed if anybody in my family was missing, and I feel like that would just be irrelevant at that point. But again, that's just my opinion. Yeah, and she apparently had the presence of mind to put on sweatpants too, if that was true. Exactly, Amy Ashley, I agree. Like, she had to be coherent at least a little bit, because if she was seen in a t-shirt and she was seen in sweatpants, and Melissa said she went to bed in t-shirt and underwear. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd be 16 and wearing a t-shirt and underwear in bed with my stepmom. That's just my opinion, you guys. I don't know. But yeah, it's just kind of weird to me. And Casey said, don't forget, Melissa was actually wearing the same exact clothes that the witness described Karlie was wearing. Exactly. This is where me talking to Casey. So when I don't even know if Casey knows this. Casey, if you're here, this is kind of how. So Casey started talking in one of my lives that I was doing about Karlie, and I knew just how invested she was in this case. And she brought up so many good points. And it was in that live that I kind of put 2 and 2 together and was like, wait, holy crap. Like, so I think what might actually be going on is that Melissa, because she had thrown out there that she was actually the one that was looking for Karlie before Zach even knew she was missing. And I'm like, wait a minute. There's been a number of different discrepancies on what she was wearing. And Melissa was said to have worn almost the same thing or something very similar that day. So I really think that there was just a misunderstanding. Again, I don't think that these witnesses meant to do this. It was just them trying to help. There's nothing against them at all. Like, I absolutely appreciate people coming forward and giving the information that they know, because that information, even though they thought it was Karlie, if it is said to have, like, if it's determined to have been Melissa, that helps a lot, because they're realizing that Melissa is setting the stage for something. Why was she out there pretending to be her, or pretending to have sightings of her? Mimi says the sheriff is a female and she has had a bad record for something involving Rodney King way back. I saw something that there was something being filed, and I keep saying something, and I keep saying there's been a lot of different things said and a lot of different versions, and this is one of those cases that it makes it difficult to talk about, because you almost wonder what to bring up and what not to bring up, because you're not exactly sure. If we talked about every single version of everything, we'd be here literally all day. And I saw something where Lindsay has actually taken the step, or is working on it with her attorney, I think, to do something against the sheriff there. I have heard that as well. And that came directly from the mom's mouth, and that's what Mimi said as well. Yeah, it is terribly stupid to draw attention to yourself. I agree. Yeah, you know what? Mimi, lots of runaways. It depends on what the reason for running away was, I guess. So sometimes, like, if they want to be off the grid, if she knew her parents could track her and she knew that she would be found, then it's very likely for her to have not been there. Like, she would have left her phone. She didn't want anybody to contact her. But she had a boyfriend. She had friends. And she had her mom that lived hours away. So if she was really that miserable and really wanted to go missing, and if, you know, Zach and Melissa really took it out on her that bad after whatever drug it was that she did, she could always go live with her mom. And it was stated that her and her mom had a really good relationship. But it was also stated that her and Melissa had a really good relationship. So this is part of what confuses me. That's why I don't think she would have run away, because she would have still had to have been under the influence and not realizing, you know, I think it was more like wandering, not running away. And it was brought up, I think Dr. Phil was pretty set in his ways that maybe she got picked up. She could have been wandering out there, and it was a possibility that she was picked up by somebody. There are a lot of people that are out there that are bad in this world. And I mean, human trafficking is really bad where I live, and it's definitely a possibility. But it kind of sounds like where they live was in a little bit more of a remote area, and there weren't a lot of different like major highways that were all connected into like one area that would give a lot of times human traffickers, they like to be around major highways that can get you from one state to another state very quickly. And they like to be in areas where they can disperse people in different places very quickly. And so they like to be by main arteries. It doesn't sound like this is really the case here. It could be, I mean, you guys remember what happened with Jamie Kloss? Someone could have just taken advantage of a situation that she was in. So, you know, maybe she was still under the influence and wandering around, and somebody took advantage of that fact, and she's being held hostage or captive somewhere. Or maybe she met with foul fate because somebody intercepted her while she was wandering. I mean, she's so pretty. She's a gorgeous girl, and there are a lot of really bad people out there. I'm just looking at all these here. Some people think she willingly left the house. Hey, Texas woman. Yeah, Justice 4, you know, I mean, it's just something that I was thinking of. I hope that Karlie's okay. That's my number one goal. I hope that she's okay, and I hope that she's brought home safe. That's ultimately what I hope, for sure. I just feel like we're so far in at this point, and she hasn't been brought home. Like, if she just went wandering around and she willingly left, at some point, she's going to need something. Mimi says that the father was on psychic drugs due to the inability to cope with life, according to what Karlie told her mom. He said he was drinking. You can't mix the two. Very true. I know, I really can't drink alcohol. I was just talking to someone about this last night. My husband's birthday was in the summer, and we had a few people over, and I think that's the last time I had anything to drink, and I definitely regretted it. I mean, almost instantly. I'm just on medication for my nerves and for anxiety and all kinds. I'm like literally a walking disaster. And I can't mix alcohol with it, as, you know, I'm not like I was before, that's for sure. And it makes me feel sick, but I know it can make other people act crazy. Yeah, you know what? Caroline, hey Caroline. And yeah, she acts like she might be on something. Now, adrenaline can make people act totally different. Like, you hear those stories of somebody like lifting up a car on that's on somebody, or someone just all of a sudden gaining all of this strength out of nowhere. And it happens when adrenaline runs through your body. But at some point, that adrenaline is going to run out. And you're not going to be... She was putting out these Facebook live videos for days. I went to a YouTube channel, and there were 30. I think I counted within 10 days. She's not going to be in that state of adrenaline that whole time. It's just not going to happen. So, now, she could have totally been in a situation where she was put on something by her doctor. And, I mean, I know when I get put on new medicine, I just got put on a new ADHD medicine, and I swear I can't sleep. I was not able to sleep before. Now I can't sleep worth a damn. So, I know that it can make you act totally different. And maybe that's the case. I know that it happens. Sometimes people literally have to be sedated when someone dies or they go missing. Hey, Dad with the phone. I don't know if you're still in here. I was telling my side of everything and then wanted to go through all the chat and stuff. So I'm totally behind on all this. Trent Hodge says, hi everyone. In my opinion, after watching Melissa's video post, there is no doubt in my mind that there is meth involved here. Her videos, her description of Karlie's behavior is red flagging. I agree that there's something going on. I'm not sure what, but I agree something was going on there. Mimi says, absolutely. The mother has no reason to lie. She was nowhere near her. She only let her daughter live with them because of the school and friends, but she had full custody. That's interesting. Yeah, you know what? I have problems. I have sleeping problems for sure. And I know sometimes when I don't get enough sleep, I mean, it's almost like it's worse than if I was really drunk, because I can't function. And I look at my husband, I'm like, I just can't process what you're telling me, and I need to go take a nap. And it happens a lot. I have a lot of broken sleep, and so I understand. Isn't it weird that she said that, Mimi, about the key? I don't understand that. Yeah, exactly, guys. The one. That is so creepy. Okay, so when you say that you think it's ice, Trent, what... I know that that's a slang or, like, nickname for something. I don't mean to sound ignorant here. What do you mean by that? And Trent says that being in bed with Karlie is just even more evidence. I am from Melbourne, Australia, and Melissa is using the diversion admission by saying that she had weed, but really it's ice. So that's why I'm asking. I'm not exactly sure what was deleted from her phone, but I know that the CrimeCon asked what was deleted from her phone. I know that Melissa has said on Nancy Grace that she had the passcode, like, you know how you can secure your phone? She had the passcode to Karlie's phone, and that she was in Karlie's phone, and that the last communication with anybody, or like the last text or something, was with Karlie. And it's my understanding, and I think I got this from Lindsay's, it's either Fairly or Farley. I feel like I say it wrong, and I don't want to jack it up, but it's her biological mother's Facebook or something that she had said. And it was about 9 to 11 hours before they even took that phone in. So I have no idea what they did with that phone. I don't think that their house was ever searched. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was. And if it was, I don't think it was searched in depth. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. Hey, Coffee Chat. I didn't see you come in. So Mimi says that Melissa hurried them off to her brother's home at 5:30 on a Saturday. That's very strange. I agree. Yeah, I agree, Caroline. There's something going on there, I think, with that. I'm not exactly sure what it is, though. And I know that it's really bothering Casey. There's something going on with... I don't know. I don't know if there's a connection. I don't know if it's something like if he had taken some sort of drug, or, again, you can chip your tooth on about anything. You get in a car accident, you know, the airbag pops out. You fall. There's a number of different things. It might just be bad dental hygiene. I don't know, and I'm not here to judge, but when we're thinking of how his actions were, and we're trying to put those together with what might have happened, and in my eyes, he doesn't seem too concerned about finding Karlie. He seems more concerned about CYA. Yeah, and then Trent saying, look at the difference of Melissa in those pictures, too. I know. Hey, JBWK, I agree. I think that we need to get a timeline and get something together. It's just crazy. Hey, Ramad. It's all good. I am totally behind on all these chats, too, because I wanted to make sure that I got out all the information first and then gave people time to respond. So I just wanted to see what everybody was thinking. I think that there's a cover-up involved somewhere. I don't want to make any accusations that Melissa or Zach did anything. But I do have that theory. I do feel that for whatever reason, I think that Melissa went out, and I think that she tried to get other witnesses to believe that she was Karlie. That's my opinion. Hey, Michelle. Hey, BJ. Jeez, I cannot talk. Hey, BJ Church. I got bad vibes from the dad and the stepmom in the first 5 minutes. Just something tells me that they are covering something up. Right. I agree for sure. Let me, you know what, since I didn't get a response back, I feel like a total moron here, but I'm trying to figure out. I know ice was, here we go, hold on. Yeah, you know what, Texas woman, I agree. I am not the first person to take things, like, sometimes in serious situations, I don't act like I should, so I understand. Okay, ice is crystal meth, guys. I just looked it up. I wanted to make sure I knew what it was. So, it's interesting to me because of just the way that they were acting and what they were doing. And you would think that he, if anything, like, unless he was sedated by drugs or something that, you know, he was given to by the doctor, or maybe he took it on his own, or I don't know. But unless he was in some sort of, like, drug-induced state, you would think that he would be crying, not smirking. And I felt like, if you guys go back and listen to the Nancy Grace interview, it's on YouTube. I think she has her podcast up online somewhere too. But if you go listen to that, my husband and I were listening to it together. I mean, I'm telling you, Casey has got us both into this case, and he is all about it. He's listened to all the Facebook Lives. He's listened to Nancy Grace, and we just looked at each other. And I'm like, did he seriously just laugh? Now, I know people think that sometimes, you know, I talk about true crime, and I talk about murder, and I talk about people being missing, and I'm not always 100% serious in that moment. It's hard to be sometimes because it's just, it's a hard topic to talk about. But I can tell you that if anybody in my family, especially my child, was missing, there's nothing funny about that. And, like, I understand that he might have been getting upset at Nancy Grace, but it was just weird. The interaction was just completely weird. And then the way that they acted, again, like, the interview with Nancy Grace was a lot sooner to her disappearance than the one with Dr. Phil. And for all of this to kind of be pieced together, and they're still acting the same way. They were defensive before, and we weren't getting any answers. And they're... yeah, nope, not at all now with the phone. But they're still just as defensive now as they were before. So they weren't getting answers before. You know the definition of insanity? So the fact that they're still doing the exact same thing, and then they get defensive in another manner when people accuse them of not being open and not wanting to find her or not providing the information and the recording. And it's just crazy. Dad with the phone's out. Casey's back. Hey, Casey. They were acting guilty, or there was definitely something shady about their interaction for sure. And I can totally give people the benefit of the doubt because, again, trauma does weird things to people. And one of the hardest things that I've ever seen people go through is when they're missing somebody. Because when somebody is deceased and you know that they're dead, you have closure. You know, I mean, sometimes there's still like something open about it because you might not have justice for that person. You may still have a suspect on the loose or no suspect. There could be a lot of different things. But in this instance, like, it just, I don't know. It's just really weird. Nothing makes sense about any of this. And it frustrates me. And the fact that they're acting the way that they're acting, and they continue to act that way. There's been nothing that's changed other than the fact that I think they might have gotten more defensive as time has gone on. And I understand that Lindsay is accusing them of things, and she said that she's not accusing them of things. It is what it is, but I don't like being accused of anything. So especially when it comes to a missing person or a missing child, but just their interaction, it's so weird. Yeah, Dad with the phone, thanks. I hope you do something on it too, because I'd love to hear your take on it. Casey's the whole reason I've been like intertwined in this case. She's been like a little birdie in my ear, and there's so many. She can point you to the direction of, there's 30 okay, so there's 2 different Facebook pages that I have been kind of working off of with the Facebook Lives. There's one that I cannot remember the name. Casey has it. There is another one that is Missing Persons Cases Network. I think it may be just a guy. I'm not sure. I heard him in an episode with a female, kind of like what me and my husband do, which I thought was really cool. Hey, if you're listening to me, Missing Persons Cases Network, I tried to reach out to you. I want to collab with you on something if possible. I'd love to. He's super, super, super educated on this too. He did like a 4-hour live last night. And yeah, I would love to talk to him. But I don't think he has all 30 of them on there. Hi, Kelly. I'm so glad to see you. I don't think he has all 30 of the Facebook Lives on there, but he has a good chunk of them. And then, Casey, do you remember, I know it was in the comments. My child does not want to go to bed, you guys. Somebody posted in the comments that there was another site or another channel on YouTube that has 30 videos on there, and I looked at that too. You guys, you want to know why he's upset? He turned on the wrong movie or something on his tablet. This kid is crazy. I adore him though. He's just like me and his dad. Oh my gosh. Dr. Phil only heard 2 minutes. Hey, Sam, I am. I don't feel like I've seen you in here for a while. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, you know what, Jay, BWK? I agree. I'm not exactly sure what's going on and why they can't come together. Their daughter's missing. Like, get your shit together. Get over your differences and find this girl. I feel like maybe there's that divide because Lindsay really feels that there is something going on, and Melissa and Zach are never going to admit it. So I don't feel like we're ever going to find the truth. Again, my opinion. I do not feel that we are going to get the truth unless Karlie's found. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it so much. This case is so strange. So the tape is supposed to be 23 minutes. Casey told me that he's Chew. He takes it down. Like, he has a movie on and he takes it down and likes to do all kinds of different things with it. It's like a little kid's tablet thing or whatever. But so the editing, I guess the stepmother decided to cut it down to 8 minutes. So from 23 minutes to 8 minutes. And then what Dr. Phil actually heard was only 2 minutes. And that's per somebody who was in the audience. So that's not even 10% of the audio. It's crazy. Yeah, my child is super spoiled. You know, there's just some things that that was one of the things I said I was never going to do. Even after I had him. And there's just some things that I choose not to fight. He sees me on my phone and my tablet all the time because that's how I work and how I do things and, you know, how we communicate. And he likes to do chats and stuff like with my mom and family members or whatever, and like video chat. So he knows all about it. Yeah, so they have edited it. I'm not exactly sure what they edited, but I would be very curious. I don't remember what I was asking you, Casey. Oh, you know what I do? The link of those videos. I know the Missing Persons Cases Network has them. Does he have all of them? Girl, I agree. He watches, I know my mom's been on me about it too, but he watches a movie before he goes to bed every day. Whatever. Mimi J says, this is a classic case of hit and run. Something happened, they were drunk or worse, and ran from the scene and hid it. Just my opinion. That's interesting. You know, Kelly, that's a good theory. Kelly says, so do you think that Karlie saw the bickering between her mom and her stepmom and her dad and didn't want to be in the middle and thought about leaving would be the best? Maybe in her state of mind that she was in, she might have been thinking a little bit differently than what she normally would have. I'm trying to think back when I was 16, and I remember wanting to run away a lot, but I never did. Because when you think about it, like, my parents took my cell phone, and, like, I'm trying to think, how can I get one of those, you know, burner phones so that I can have access to my friends for however many days I was grounded. Like, there was one time I was grounded for, like, a whole month or something. And my parents took my phone for a large chunk of that time. And I'm like, I'm running away. I never want to be by you again. But I never went anywhere. But again, I also wasn't under the influence, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, I agree, Michelle. Sometimes there's an issue with how I think that audio is perceived. And I do kind of think that she may have been hinting around, but I don't think that she knew the words. This is my opinion. I think that if she was asking directly for 911, she just couldn't get the right words to come out because she was under the influence. I mean, you hear drunk people talk all the time, or people under the influence. what they say just doesn't make sense sometimes. So I was really hoping that we were going to get to hear some of the audio, but we don't get to hear any of that right now. Now, if something happens and that's admitted into evidence and that evidence is released, then we'll hear that audio. But it depends. That could be one of those things that they keep out of the public eye. And it also could be one of those things that we don't ever find Karlie, and there's no way that we're able to proceed with anything. There are some states where it is so hard to prosecute on anything if there's no body. They don't even know, like, if she's really gone, or, you know, as Zach and Melissa told Lindsay, that really bothered Lindsay. I don't know exactly. I don't think that that bothered me as much as what it bothered other people. But for those of you that don't know, Lindsay said, hey, it was either Lindsay or Zach. I think it might have been Zach. When they called Lindsay at 9:30, approximately 9:30 in the morning to say that Karlie was missing, they said Karlie is gone. When I hear the word gone, I don't necessarily think gone, like for good. Maybe. It doesn't just sound as final to me, I feel like, but that's just my opinion. But Lindsay took it as there's something not right with this from the very beginning. But again, mother's intuition, that could be some of the best signs that you have. If you guys have been following the Chris Watts case, Shanann's mom says that she felt when, like, she could just feel, she had this feeling when, I'm pretty sure she said 2 times for Shanann, when Shanann passed and then when Shanann was found. And it was almost just like this comforting feeling for her. And the same thing when they found those little girls. She knew, and she's very spiritual, and that comforts her. And so I know that there's a lot of different things that kind of play into this stuff, but maybe it's that intuition that she just felt she's that mother, and she's like, something is going on. Yeah, Truth Seeker, hey, thank you for coming in. And that's what Lindsay said too. Lindsay's the biological mother, for anyone that doesn't know. And she said on Dr. Phil, she said she wasn't accusing anybody, she wasn't pointing fingers at anybody, but she said that she feels that Melissa, or that Karlie might have passed away from an overdose. And she kind of left it open-ended at that point. She didn't really go into any further about if she would have been, you know, if they would have covered it up or anything, unless I missed that. But it was kind of alluding to that, but she was very careful with what she said. Yeah, you know what? I agree, Amy Ashley. That's very possible that if she gave her something else, if Melissa gave her something else to calm down, that maybe that's when she was asking for 911, because she started to feel a lot different. That's very possible. CrimeCon says, I will say drugs affect kids and adults in almost the exact opposite manner. That's interesting. Thank you, Casey. Casey put the Missing Persons Cases Network link on here, and they have a lot of the information in regards to the lives that Melissa Guse, Karlie's stepmom, did. Yeah, that's kind of what she said, True Seeker. I mean, some people either do or do not believe in that, but yeah, she said that she felt that. It was like she felt, Dre Adams on here says that Sandy said it felt like a spear going through her forehead. She knew something right away and woke up Frank and Frankie Jr. So I know I hear that a lot when something happens, and unfortunately, it's just, they call it mother's intuition a lot. A lot of times people just know. Yeah, and you know what, BJ Church, you are right. A lot of time a mother's intuition is right, or close to being right. It just totally depends. And it may even give them a good direction, but I feel in my heart, Lindsay does not believe that Karlie's alive. I don't think she does. And Melissa and Zach constantly say that they hope that they find her alive, or that's really the only thing that they can believe to keep them going. Yet they don't seem too upset about it. Yeah, exactly. Hey, hey, Irby. I'm glad you could join. My little one's decided he was going to, like, fake out and nap, and then, like, I don't know if he like woke up right after or decided that he was going to play and then lay down. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not napping and he's supposed to be napping. So probably going to have to get off here in just a second. But yeah, Justice 4 for sure. I mean, it gives me goosebumps also when you talk about stuff like that. Like, sometimes moms just know. And I really feel in my heart that Lindsay does not think that Karlie's still alive. And it's sad and it sucks. And that might have been why she left and went home so quickly. I know that she was kind of being criticized by Zach and Melissa that she left and went home quickly. But she's like, look, what am I going to do? I'm paralyzed from all of this crap that's going on. Like, it consumed her. And I feel in my heart that she does not believe that she's alive. And that really sucks. That really sucks. I know, right, True Seeker? He's supposed to be napping. He does this thing where sometimes he naps, sometimes he doesn't. And I don't know. It is what it is. I'm learning. Yeah, so, okay, I had a question about that. When the key, Casey. So I'm going to ask about the key, and then I'm going to have to get off. So the key is what I am curious about. I must have missed that. Was that brought up on Dr. Phil, or was that brought up somewhere else? Because I watched both of those episodes twice, and I do not remember that. And again, I was taking notes and stuff like that, but I'm not 100% sure what you were talking about, and that is freaky. I had everybody put up a 1 saying that was creepy, and we got lots of 1s. Hey, Onique. Much love to you as well. Sorry, I've been so busy going back and forth that I feel like I haven't been able to be in your lives lately. It makes me sad. Casey, I agree. I think that she might have started to feel uncomfortable and maybe unsafe. And, oh, really? Melissa was hiding in the bathroom while she was doing all these live videos. That's interesting. Goodness. See, it gets interesting the more you look into it. Just the more creepy it gets almost. I really feel that Melissa and or Zach knows what happened to Karlie. I don't necessarily know whether they're involved with what happened or if they're involved in the cover-up, but at some point she went missing, and there's been so many conflicting stories that it just doesn't make sense. I just don't understand why everybody seems to come up with conflicting information, and then as soon as you seem to feel that you have the right track going on and that something might be true, they come out with another story. And that just doesn't make sense to me. If you want your child found, I would think that you would tell the truth, or what you know to be the truth. Maybe they were blacked out on something. Maybe they don't remember. I mean, maybe they took something and they honestly don't remember and they're trying to fill in the gaps. Hell, I don't know. I know, right, Onique? I love that name, by the way, Oni. It's awesome. Do you hear my little one banging on his toys right now? I'm watching him in my video, and he's cracking me up. He's just having a little party by himself. I let him do this when he's supposed to be nap. He's not going to nap, clearly. So we're just going to have to hang out, and we'll do some fun activities and crafts and stuff like that. But at least he's relaxing, I guess, or he was for a minute. But okay, so Casey says the key clip was like a highlight during the Dr. Phil show on Monday. You know, when they break for commercials or come back from the commercial break, they play those highlight reels. Yeah. How did I miss that? She said it was in one of those. She grabs the necklace on her neck and says that this is the key to finding Karlie. What the crap does that mean? That's so funny, Irby. I'm serious. It's like my kid. Like, I just having a little one it's a journey. It is the best journey ever, but it's a journey. He's like banging on his xylophone right now. I can hear it. And something else. He's crazy. My kiddo needs to be napping. It's insane. So Casey says, and then they said something like the key to... Wait, let me make sure I read this right. And then said something like the key to her treasure box. That is super weird. Does she have like a... I wish we had like pictures of her bedroom or something. See, if they would have treated this like a crime scene, we might have this information. But I don't think they ever did, which sucks. Because if so, now it's too late. I don't know. Again, they could totally be hiding information, and they could not want Melissa and Zach to know that they're on their case. And that happens a lot. I was working on a missing persons case not that long ago, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, what is she locked? Okay, that's a good point, Casey. Makes her think that she is locked inside of something. That is so weird. Hey, Laura, I don't know if I said hey to you. Yeah, that's spooky. That gives me the creeps. Oh my gosh, Amy Ashley. That was my favorite show. I know I was like a total dork, but I loved the Pretty Little Liars. They just came out with a spin-off show, and I just don't know how I feel about that. Hello from Michigan. Hi, Stacy. Thank you for joining, and thank you. I appreciate that so much. Cheryl Harris says she said someone gave that to her, but that people say it is from where Karlie's being kept, right? Or did I hear that wrong? Holy crap. Okay, at least I know I'm not the only one that watched that show. Yeah, Cheryl, this case is super strange. Every time... Yeah, yes, Mimi, Melissa does hold the key. Melissa knows more. She knows more. Oh my gosh, my son has literally put, like, almost his whole bedroom in his bed. I cannot with this kid right now. He has, like, his toy racetrack thing and... Whatever. Yeah, Epic Strange is right. That is absolutely right. The key story on Pretty Little Liars is... There was a girl who went missing. They thought she was dead. A group of friends was investigated because they were with her that night. And it turns out she actually wasn't dead. She was just missing. It's interesting. They went on for like 6 or 7 seasons or something like that. It was super stupid, but like one of my favorite shows. Donald Arrowwood III is the boyfriend. I thought it was Donald or Ronald. It was something like that. So, Casey says if anybody is wondering why people find MG suspect, it's stuff like that. She says things that are either totally irrelevant or super weird. Right. So, like, I was talking in, I think it was the episode that Grady and I did the other night, and we were talking about how it was weird. Like, I would never even question where she would have been sleeping if she hadn't have brought it up. Or some of the things that she would have said. Like... Some of her comments, like, I fed her a salad. She was hungry, so I gave her a salad. And then she spit it out, and she goes, literally, you guys, like, Melissa on this episode goes, Puh, and, like, makes, like, that spit out gesture, like my son is doing with everything these days. And, like, this morning, he literally took I told you at the beginning of this episode, he's obsessed with coconut water. He now gets ticked off at me when I give him milk instead of coconut water. So he went up to my 100-pound pit bull and decided to stand behind him and go, peh, with all of his milk and spit it on his tail and his back and, you know, all that good stuff. So it's like she was acting like she was 2. And she said that Karlie did that and said, this is the devil's lettuce. And it's ironic that she says that because that's what some people call marijuana. And that's what they said that she did. So some of the things that she says is just super weird. I know, right, Justice, where I totally agree that sometimes he just needs some quiet time by himself. I've read some studies and stuff that say that kids actually explore more when they are kind of left on his own. Like, look, I can totally show you guys. I'm totally not that. I'm going to have someone say, you're neglecting your kid. Look, I'm watching my child. He's trying to put everything in his bed right now. He's supposed to be napping, and that is not what he's doing. I guess I'll put myself back up on here since I'm not really reading a whole lot on here. Yeah, I doubt it, Casey. At this point, he's not going to fall asleep. He's going to terrorize his room, and we're going to go do some crafts or do something. So, Mimi says that Lindsay left quickly and did not want to use Karlie's car for fear of leaving DNA, and that was very smart of her. I agree. Sometimes people do some things that people think are suspicious and, like, lawyering up. But honestly, like, if I was ever accused of anything that I wasn't involved in, I think I would do the same thing because sometimes you need to know what you're getting into and what is against you. And sometimes you need to know when to shut the hell up. And that's, sometimes you just talk too much and you get yourself in trouble. Leah says, all this time, everybody thought KCH was a clown. Turns out she has some pretty interesting insight. Girl, she does. This case, she knows the ins and outs of this case. She does. Who was interviewed and cleared by police already, Casey? The father? Zach? Well, good. I'm glad it's not neglect at all. It's just, it's definitely healthy. I need him to, he's an independent kid for sure. He is seriously rebellious. He, like, gives no craps. Irby said her baby napped at the store, so no break for her today. Yeah, I see. I get that too. My child will nap in the car for 15 minutes, and then he won't nap for the rest of the day, and then he'll be up till 11. Yeah, I agree, Cheryl, that they didn't give Dr. Phil the things that he had asked for, and that it was bizarre. I would do anything for my missing child as well if that was the case, and I feel that, especially only giving 2 minutes of the audio when he's just trying to help, and there's 23 minutes of audio, so that's definitely interesting. And they said in the beginning that they didn't give it because they didn't want everybody else to hear how Karlie was and how she was acting and what she said. And then they said, oh wait, but did they, like, looked at each other and they're like, but wait, were we asked for that? Dr. Phil's like, yeah, like a bunch of times. So they lie about everything, like even things that it just doesn't make any sense. Hey, reporting live from your sofa. What's up? It's going okay. How about you? Go subscribe. Okay, I'm going to do my lovely, like, marketing play here. I've got some friends in my chat. Irby Herb, Dad with the phone, reporting live from my sofa. We have, is Dad TV in here? I don't think Dad TV's in here. If anybody else is in here, drop your link if you have a link to your channel. And then all my friends, I would love for you to go subscribe to them because they're awesome. Make sure you check them out for sure. So, True Seeker, when you say that they said that her dad, wait, hold on. They said that they took a polygraph test and passed, but not sure if that's a fact. So, are you saying that that's what Melissa and Zach said, that they both did that because, and the cops haven't come out and said that they did? I know a lot of times they're going to be super, like, nonchalant and not say anything. Even if they did pass, a lot of times it is, have you guys heard of the Caitlin Markham case? This is a girl who went missing. Actually, it was freaky to me because she went missing just a few minutes away from where I lived at the time, and she was around my age. And they did a polygraph test with her fiance at the time. And the only thing that I've ever heard that's come out on there is what he said, and if he passed or not based on what he said. A lot of times when there's a case that's open and somebody, like, if it's a possible crime or anything, they have to keep that evidence and all that information dear to their heart and close so that nothing happens to it and that they don't leak out any of the information that might be able to help them catch the bad guy. And I just feel like, I don't know, it's all just so freaking weird, right? It drives me insane. Yes, she is. Irby Herb is the National Enquirer. I freaking love her. She's amazing. That's a good question, Mimi. I want to know if they have a storage locker somewhere as well. Well, thanks for coming in. Reporting live from my sofa. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. They are... Oh, really? Hey, Karlie. I'll have to check that out. That's interesting. I've reached out to her. I know she gets... I'm sure she gets bombarded and contacted all the time, and I'm sure that it's just gotten worse since all this Dr. Phil stuff. So, if she wants to come out, I mean, I've reached out, and she knows how to get a hold of me. I'd love to have her on here, but I know she's going through a lot. No, what'd you say about the brother? Yeah, it's a crazy case for sure. She went missing. We have no idea where she is. And honestly, we're not sure if she even really went missing. I have a theory, and I don't know if it's correct or not, but we'll see. Well, thanks. I'm glad you were able to catch me, and I love when I'm able to catch you too. You're hilarious. Yes, make sure that you check out my friends, Herby Herb and Dad with a Phone, and I just came across Reporting Live from my sofa the other day, and he's freaking hilarious, so check him out too. Also, Miss Murder Australia, she's amazing. Who am I missing here? John Crimes. Let's see. I gotta boost everybody up here. I gotta pimp all my people out. Wait, who else am I missing? J is for Justice, and The Dish with Lish, and Onique. He changed his name. It used to be True Crime and Gossip. Now it's Onique, so make sure you check him out. And this is Chaz. I think I covered everybody. So Casey said that she heard that Kane, who is apparently Karlie's brother that lived in the next town over or somewhere nearby, had a photo of Karlie stealing marijuana from his stash. That'd be interesting if you have it stealing marijuana from your stash. I mean, still even then, like, marijuana. Oh, people are crazy. Yeah, Trent Hutch, there's something weird. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I did mention earlier, I don't know if you were on here, I mentioned how I thought it was weird that she said Karlie went to bed in underwear and a t-shirt. And even my real mom, I don't think I would have ever done that at that age. I mean, I know when you're little, like a kid, like my son right now hates clothes. He hates his diaper. He hates everything. He wants to run around like totally nude all the time if I'd let him. And I understand that there's different stages you go in life, but when you're 16, are you really going to lay in bed and sleep with your mom? I mean, I guess you're in some sort of weird state of mind, I guess is what they're saying, but I still just find that weird. It's weird. Oh, really, Justice 4? Do you have a channel as well? Crap, have I missed something? So you talked to Nicole Atkinson? Holy crap, I would love to talk to Nicole Atkinson. If you talk to her again, tell her I would love to talk to her. I'd love to have her on here and give her a side of everything. I feel so freaking bad for her. You guys, Nicole Atkinson is who dropped Shanann Watts off at her home after they went on a business trip and got home from the airport. So, other than Chris Watts and possibly her girls, she's the last person that saw her alive. And I feel like she has a lot of guilt. I feel like there's even though she wasn't there may be a little bit of survivor's guilt or something there. And I feel awful for her. And I would love to talk to her and get her side of Shanann. And I know there's a lot of people that bash her, so if anybody ever knows anyone or talks to anyone that's involved in any kind of cases and they'd like a platform to talk about their loved one or what they think happened or anything, I would absolutely love to talk to them. Oh, that's awesome, Justice 4. I'm sure she definitely liked that. Justice 4 said that she told her she inspired her and that she said thank you, and she pretty much left it at that. She did want to creep her out, and I totally understand that. So Casey said that there was an arrest that was made because this guy, I guess her brother Kane, who Karlie was stealing marijuana from, shared this picture with the cops, and I guess this guy was arrested for distributing to a minor. The guy arrested was the guy having the party that Karlie had attended that night. Oh, interesting. You know, I was always wondering if maybe something happened where she snuck out at night and something happened to her then. She had a boyfriend. I mean, I was an idiot when I was 16. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And maybe she just met with foul fate there, or I don't know, maybe something else happened. I'm not sure. Yeah, you know what though? At 16, I was like totally like, okay, let me do me, let me be by myself, and let me be independent. And now I call my mom for everything. So, Yeah, absolutely. Nicole Atkinson, man, I honestly feel that she is part of the reason, if not all of the reason, her and her son, they're the reason why this was wrapped up so quickly. And by this, I mean the Chris Watts case and poor Shanann and my goodness, Celeste and Bella and Nico. It breaks my heart. Yeah, I don't understand that either, Casey. This is weird. Sometimes they just try to arrest people to get them to talk and hope that they'll have information. And I don't know, like, I'd be curious if when they arrested him, if those charges stuck or if those charges were dropped. Because sometimes people will have charges brought on them just so that they can be brought in. And a lot of times it's completely irrelevant to the case, but they want to talk to them. So they bring them in. They have a hold on them. And they can decide whether or not they're going to keep them there or hold those charges. And they can even continue to charge them, arrest them or whatever, release them, and drop the charges later because they help. So I don't know what is going on, but I definitely would be curious in that. I heard that there was an arrest made, but I didn't realize that that's who it was. I agree, True Seeker. Everyone should have such an incredible friend. And you know what? I have to give a shout out to my girls. They know who they are. I've met them through YouTube, and I feel like I have a circle of friends who I don't feel like I had. I mean, there were a couple people maybe from prior, but not that I talked to all the time. And I got to tell you, I now have a circle of friends that would do the exact same thing for me. And everybody needs a Nicole Atkinson in their life. That's for sure. Lucky enough for me, I think I have 5. Something like that. Oh, girl, Justice 4. No, don't even say anything. If you had a full-fledged conversation, that's totally cool. But if not, I totally get it. Oh, Amy, yeah, my dad, like, he jokes around all the time. He's like, I swear if I could have, I would have handcuffed you to your bed and locked your windows, like, with, like, the bars and everything, because I tested everything, you know? That was just what I did. Oh, I'm so sorry, Texas woman. Even though it's been 20 years, I'm sure it still hurts like it was yesterday. That makes me so sad for you. Hey, just know that anybody here, too, that if anyone wants to reach out to me if you're ever going through anything, definitely let me know. I mean, I get more emails now than I did before, but I try to respond to everybody because I know that that's why I'm here. I'm here because of you guys, and it just so happened that this Chris Watts stuff kind of expanded our channel, but I am one of those people that has real life experience with some of this stuff, and I also have a lot of experiences with some bullshit I dealt with in my past personally, and I just want to be there for anybody that needs a friend. So yeah, absolutely. I'm sure she probably gets a lot of messages too. I'm always hesitant to reach out. See, sometimes when I reach out to families, like when I'm working on something right now and I've been trying to hear back from the family, and like I got in contact with one of the family members, but sometimes things just don't really work out, and I wonder why I even contacted them in the first place, because yeah, it's a long story, but pretty much like I could have had awareness raised about this situation, and I was simply asking for permission to use. These pictures were posted on a public forum, and I was asking for permission to use them from who posted them and the family, because they were evidence pictures, and there's 106 of them. And I have the 911 call that I've been given from the family, and I'm working on a video. You guys, I have it put together. I think I'm going to go back and edit it again because I want to take out some of the things, or like make it look a little bit better. But sometimes I feel like I hold myself up, and I feel like if I give them a finished product and say, hey, this is what I would like to do, maybe it would help. But I know there's a lot of YouTubers that don't even reach out to any family members because they don't want to be judged. They know that there's a lot of people that are already reaching out to them. There's a lot of people that prey on people in these scenarios and stuff. Like, people create fake GoFundMes and try to raise money for themselves and not the family, and it's sad, for sure. Romod, we're all friends. You got a question. Okay, is there any evidence of any football game even being held that night? What teams? Is this a regular outing for Karlie, if even true? I would bet that there was, because it was a Friday night. I know when I was that age, I always went to football. Actually, you know what? When I was 16, I don't think I did. I think I went a little bit earlier. Maybe I did when I was still 16, but I know it was like every Friday night. I would be curious to know, though, for sure, what was going on with that game, because I could, again, there's been so much freaking information out there that I get confused, and when it contradicts, like one set of information contradicts the other, and then that contradicts another set of information, that's where I get confused, and my attention span is like this, so it just, like, I lose my train of thought all the time as well. So I would think that there would be a game, but Trent, that's a good question, and I would like to look that up. I'm actually going to screenshot this right now. It works. Pardon my stupid faces. This is what you get when you get this beautiful thing on live. I'm just kidding. I get crap sometimes from people saying I need to, like, put my face on live, and I'm like, I make the dumbest faces when I talk, but, you know. I try to reach out to family. I really do, because I don't ever want to put out anything that, like, shouldn't be out there. But what's messed up is that people take advantage of people, and I have been attacked for trying to reach out in some instances. So I almost feel like it makes me question what I do, but I know I've done. What's really crazy is that I have, and this might sound weird, I feel like I've done more good in the last 2.5 months that I've been on YouTube than I did in my 3 years being licensed as a private investigator. If that tells you anything. So I often questioned reaching out to families and trying to help families and trying to work with families and review evidence and try and get their stories out, because they're in a really tough spot, and sometimes they take it out on you. Sometimes they don't mean to. Sometimes you're working with someone directly, and then somebody else comes into the picture and they take their anger out on you. Like, so it can be hard. And now that I don't have my private investigation license, I just have my prior experience. I feel like I want to be here to raise awareness, and I don't want to teeter that line where someone feels like I'm intruding. I just want to raise awareness. So I kind of, you know, I don't know exactly what to do all the time, but I'm learning. I adore you, Justice 4. Just know that. You guys, Justice 4 is a freaking amazing person. Just know that, okay? It is super cool. Honestly, I would still have my license to this day if I didn't become disabled. It just is what it is. Like, I had, sorry, my phone is, like, literally blowing up over here. I had a surgery that I never needed, and I was 21, and I just have, sorry, I, like, shook my computer. It shook everything. I have permanent nerve damage and all kinds of lovely issues. Like, what's ironic is that the doctor told me that if I didn't have surgery right away, I'd never be able to walk again. And I can't walk right now. So I can walk, but what I mean is, like, I don't walk right. I don't walk normal. Like, I walk with a limp. If I go very far, I have to use a cane or a crutch, or, like, freaking sucks. This is part of what makes me want to, like, cry sometimes. But I have an almost 2-year-old, and so if I, like, want to take him to the zoo, we have one of the best zoos in the nation where I live. If I want to take him to the zoo or the aquarium, or, like, do anything, take him to a festival or, like, the park or something, I usually have to be in a wheelchair. It freaking sucks. So I had to give it up, because I wanted to do, like, cold cases and missing persons cases, and, like, I wanted to do stuff like Karlie Guse's case. Like, I want to be the change in the world, you know? Like, I want to help people. And I've got a big old doggy who just came to say, hey, you want to say hi, Rocco? Say hi. So, I actually did a video because there was somebody who was bashing me all over the internet after I was trying to help their family. And it was someone I wasn't working with directly. It was just somebody who was a part of the family. And I was in a teetering moment here where I'm like, okay, I don't know if I should give up my license or if I should keep my license. And honestly, like, it cost me a lot of money to keep my license because I had to be bonded and insured. And I also had to pay, like, a lot of licensing and stuff. You don't have to renew every year. For some freaking reason, with private investigations, I had to renew every year. It cost me $325 just for me to keep my license every year. Plus, it was, like, the insurance and stuff. And I wanted to do cold cases and missing persons cases and kind of mirror investigations where there's a lot of families who think that there's injustice and they think that there's corruption in police departments, and they like to have an outside source kind of mirror their investigation. That's really what I wanted to do. But I became disabled right about the time that I got my license. So I am just trying to find a way to help and not intrude on anybody. I don't ever want anyone to feel like I'm trying to be anybody's business or anything like that, you know? Just trying to raise awareness, so. Oh, thank you. I'm just seeing all these messages. Like, totally, like, get in my own little world and don't read messages. And thank you, guys. That makes me feel so nice. Like, you guys are awesome. Thank you, Cheryl and CrimeCon and Justice4 and Irby. You're going to do great things as well, Irby. I love your channel. Hey, you know what? Truth Seeker, I always say, like, when people say they're sorry and, like, they empathize with me, I appreciate that so much. But at the same time, I don't ever want anybody to feel bad for me. Because, like, I've been through a lot of crap. And honestly, I feel like it's why I'm here. And I already know that I've helped multiple people since being here. And I know one of them is in this chat right now. And that means more to me than anything. So, hey, Irby Herb says, hey, baby doll. And so that's important to me, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. So, you know, if any of my subscribers or anybody out there ever knows somebody that is dealing with someone who's missing or they need a platform, I would love to give them a platform. I'd love to help them through something or whatever. You know, it's just what I'm trying to do, you know. Casey, you are fantastic. The Bishop Union Broncos were playing the, Rosamond Roadrunners at Bishop Union's Field, which she lived in Bishop, so I would assume that that would be a home game. Yep, there you go. So it was a home game. October 12th at 7 p.m. Justice4, let's do it. So she got picked up around, like, what, 8:30 or something like that. It was from her friend's house. I could have swore I heard her mother say, or her stepmother, sorry, Melissa, say at some point that she dropped Karlie off at this game. And that Karlie ended up at the other house some other way. That could have totally been something like I made up in my mind or like someone else threw out there that might not have been actual facts. But I feel like I heard that somewhere, and like I was the kind of person where I can't even tell you how many times like I was like, Mom, I'm going to the movies. And I'd go to, like, the pool hall. It wasn't necessarily that, like, I didn't want my parents to know. I just knew that they were going to tell me no. And I wanted to do it anyway. So I would go and do it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like maybe that was the case. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Yeah, Laura, I've had a back fusion to try and fix that. I might need more. I don't freaking know. I just know that it's a mess, that's for sure. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ramad. Thanks, Dre. I appreciate it so much. I really do. I feel like I have something on my tooth, so I'm, like, probably being annoying. I apologize. Trent says, I could tell she wasn't stoned. I could tell that right away. Melissa states it was laced, but they... I don't know what that means. I don't know what the last thing was. You know what? I've seen a lot of people, so, like, if she was acting the way that they say she was acting, it makes me question it for sure as well, because I've seen... Is he finally sleeping? I think he's sleeping. I've seen people... Marijuana's a downer. It's not going to make you want to paint your toes at 3 a.m. in the morning, and, like, it might make you want to eat something. You're going to get the munchies, but not a salad. Like... There's so many of these things don't add up to me, and that's the difference between, I'm glad you brought that up, because definitely, like, if anything, she probably would have come home and passed out, or something. It's really weird. Now, I know synthetic marijuana, or K2, or spice, whatever you want to call it, I know that can react with people differently, and may affect you as an upper, so that's a possibility, but apparently what was tested, to my understanding, by law enforcement was marijuana, and it was just marijuana, but it could have just been something that someone just, you know, switched out or just bought or something. Yeah, Casey's like a walking encyclopedia of all things Karlie. Yeah, I agree, Cheryl. If you ever need anything, let me know. It is a great feeling to help others, for sure. That's one of the things that I want to do. Aw, CrimeCon, you're one of my favorite people ever. Same goes for you, for sure. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was just marijuana. There was something else that was going on. And even if she would have, like, been on if like, she would have smoked marijuana and then say Melissa did give her something, I just don't feel like that would have had that sort of reaction. I don't know. Maybe, again, I'm just totally, like... Yeah, I totally could have dreamt it. You're right. I have so much on my mind when I'm going through this, and, like, I've been writing notes down and, like, reading all this stuff and going over all of these videos and taking all my notes and stuff, and I totally fall asleep while doing it. Like last night, I was cropping photos on my phone and passed out cropping photos. So yeah, I totally could have had a dream about it. That's for sure. Okay, Casey says, yeah, she did drop her off at the game. So there you go. And her boyfriend, Donald. And that they left the game almost immediately afterwards and went to this guy's house. But I'm pretty sure he lived not far from the football field. So if that's the case, and the game was at, what time did you say the game was at, Casey? Let's go back up here. 7:30. So she would have been dropped off, let's say 6:30, 7:30, give or take. And she was picked up again by Melissa around 8:30. So it really wasn't that long afterwards. Let's see here. I love all of your conversation. Hey, M's Coffee Convo. Yeah, she's gorgeous. I really hope that she's found for sure. I really do. See, Truth Seeker, okay, I am going to read a comment, and then I'm going to comment on that, and then I'm probably going to close that because I think my son decided to wake up again, or he's just playing with my mind. So, Truth Seeker says, let me ask, does anyone think that Karlie was drugged and possibly raped? It was one of my first thoughts. They continue to say, usually when someone is drugged, it's for that reason, usually and from personal experience. So, please don't judge. Please do not judge. That is not, I've been through some shit myself. So, I appreciate your comment, and I want to comment on that as well, because I feel that if maybe she would have died at the party, or maybe she would have disappeared from the party or from these people's house, or maybe the football game or something, that could have been a possibility. Usually, like, in my understanding, GHB and, like, date rape drugs and stuff, they're in your system for so long, but they usually make you pass out. They don't want you to be coherent for any of it. They basically want you to be like a wet noodle. Pardon my, I don't know any other term to make it, but honestly, they don't want you to know what's going on. They either want you to be in that, like, if you've ever had a procedure done where you're in, like, that twilight zone where you don't really know what's going on, or you're kind of there, but you don't remember it after the fact. They either want you in that state, or they want you out. Like, they don't want you to put up a fight. So if that would have happened, like, if she would have disappeared from the party, or she would have disappeared from the football game, weird things happen in bathrooms, you guys, like, then maybe. But the fact that, I mean, unless someone was at her house, I really just don't see that happening. Unless someone, like, I guess maybe she could have invited somebody over. They said that they kept my dog's killing me. They said that they kept the door unlocked, which is super strange to me. I don't care where I live, my door is never going to stay unlocked. So, I don't know. I just don't know, you guys. Yeah, eventually it is going to make you pass out, and I agree, for sure. It does depend on the person. And for sure, as well, she's super tiny. So, most of the time, it's going to take a lot less for her to have some sort of effect than it would someone who's a lot bigger than her. Bye, Irby. Hey, Natalie, I didn't see you come in. Yeah, you know what? There are telltale signs, Trent, that they are lying for sure. There are different directions. I'm not going to give away all my secrets, but if you look into criminal profiling, and, like, there are videos that you can watch even on YouTube about signs of lying, and they definitely exhibited a lot of those. And it's it's interesting. Like, I challenge you, if people are like skeptical on their body language and stuff, I challenge you to watch some sort of criminal profiling or some sort of like how to detect lies video, something short, and then watch their interview. And you only have to watch part 1 for the most part. I mean, there's a little bit in part 2, like with the audio and stuff, but most of the stuff with Zach and Melissa's in part 1. And I'm telling you guys, you're going to see it in a different light for sure. But there are already some signs that you can tell just right off the beginning too. Yeah, you know, it could be that the pot was laced with bath salts, Natalie. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't put it past anybody. Like, I heard that sometimes, I don't know if it's true or not, but there was one of the local law enforcement officers went on the news around here and was telling people that it's possible that marijuana could be laced with fentanyl and stuff like that because they're trying to, like, hook their buyers. Seriously? Like, again, marijuana is totally different from these uppers, and it just, sometimes people try to say things to get you to panic. I don't know. Bath salts, though, do make you act crazy, and I think that they are an upper. I'm looking at a case right now where I'm curious about that. There's also a case where, like, I don't know if you guys remember, I can't remember exactly where it was, but there was a guy, he went to dinner with his parents, he left dinner, and then ended up at some, like, random person's house and was trying to eat them alive. He had done bath salts. It makes people do the darndest things, and I just don't know. I mean, she was really scared, and she also, though, okay, so guys, I don't know if you know this, but this conversation that was recorded, I have heard somewhere, and I'm pretty sure it was out of Melissa's mouth specifically, that said, "Don't kill me or you're going to kill me." And she was like, Melissa was like, "Well, why would I do that, silly?" What? And then she goes missing? Do you guys watch Joe Kenda? You guys believe in coincidences? Like, seriously, I don't. That is messed up. So do you think that Melissa was abused? Or do you think that Melissa was abusing Natalie? I'm just asking. I'm totally curious. I was abused. And there are some signs that I'm thinking something's wrong, but I've been looking at other things. So I want to go back and actually look at that now that you've mentioned that for sure. You're hilarious. Oh my goodness. You do have to have it all installed. My husband cracks me up too. He's always like, "Okay, so we're going to do this and that and this and that." And we're like, yes, he is adorable. I love him so much. Yeah, if you watch Chris Watts' interview with the media as well, and then you can turn around and watch theirs, there's a lot of comparisons. I know that some people don't like to compare those, but there's a lot of signs that they both exhibit. Holy crap. True Seeker says, "Someone laced weed on me with LSD. I bet that was a messed up experience. Holy crap." Yeah, there's a case that I'm looking into right now, and a kid's friend. A kid's friend's dad shot and killed this kid. And they say that he was acting crazy. They say that he was on shrooms. But they say that he was, like, so strong that he couldn't be held back by multiple people, and the only way to restrain him or to protect everybody else in the house, including the homeowner's wife, was to shoot and kill him. So he shot him twice. One was a flesh wound where he would have lived, and the other one, I'm pretty sure, was to the head. I have the autopsy reports. I have not had the opportunity to dive into them yet because I just got them, but it's messed up. Some of the things that happen, you guys, it's so messed up. Yeah, Melissa did say that Karlie said she was afraid of her, and it's crazy. Yeah, there is no such thing as a coincidence for sure. So you're saying that Karlie grabbed the wheel, huh? Let's see here. In the car? When they were together, I would assume. Okay. And then, yeah, you're right. You know what, Casey? Casey says that if she would have said that, there's no way that that could have happened because on Dr. Phil, she said that she was so anxious to get in the car, she just got in the back seat. She didn't even want to walk around the car to get in the passenger side. So, unless she, like, wasn't buckled in and is, like, totally over the center console or something, there would be no way. Exactly. All these parts of her story has changed, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking. The real mom said that there is evil in that house. What does the dad do for work? I have a gut feeling that there is a whole meth lab somewhere in the storyline. Jeezel. Lindsay says that Melissa told her about grabbing the steering wheel. Another Melissa lie. If you guys haven't seen the videos that were put up on YouTube, or the videos that they actually were put up on YouTube, but originally they were put up on Facebook by Melissa, and they were Facebook Lives that she did. They're so weird. Casey even mentioned, like, was she running a marathon or out looking for her stepdaughter? It's so weird. Natalie says that Lindsay was on, another channel today, and there's no hate, I just don't, let's see here. Lindsay said, my phone is, like, freaking out right now. Here we go. Lindsay was on the armchair detective, I don't know, whatever. Lindsay was on the armchair detective today. Lindsay said Melissa grabbed the wheel from the back seat. Do you mean Melissa told Lindsay that Karlie grabbed the wheel from the backseat? Yes, you do, M's Coffee Combo, but it's truecrimetruth@gmail.com. Oh, thanks, Dre. Yeah, absolutely. Email me anytime. I'd love to talk to you about it, or if you want me to look into it, or you'd love to collab on anything, you let me know. M's Coffee Combo is a great channel, you guys. She just started up, and she's fantastic. Go check her out for sure. She's awesome. Yeah, so a lot of you guys are thinking the exact same thing. If the truth came out, they would be in the hot seat. They have their story and they're sticking to it, not accusing them of harming her per se, but they do know more. I agree that they know more as well, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so, okay. So, Karlie, so what Lindsay told the armchair detective today was that Karlie grabbed the steering wheel from the back seat. So, that's... Oh, man. Yeah, Casey, did Lindsay really act like she believed that had happened? I'd be curious, too. That's awesome, Dre. Dre's coming up with a channel, too. If you're able to put your link in the... I can't remember what the channel is, and I don't want to say the wrong channel and get people to subscribe to a totally different channel. So if you can put your channel link down there for me, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm multitasking for sure. My phone has died like 15 times today. Not really, but I'm serious, it's died like 3 times. And, I have a new phone coming tomorrow, thank God. I've needed one forever, and it drives me insane. Yeah, I heard that Melissa had her car in the shop, too, and I'm curious why. I heard that she was getting it detailed, and I have heard 2 different stories. I've heard that it happened the day that she went missing, and someone was asking how she found the time to get her car detailed the same day she went missing. And then I also heard that it was 3 days after she went missing. And, again, I would think in the first, like, I get it if it's like a few weeks later or something, but unless she was trying to hide something, I don't understand what the big importance of having her car detailed is. Like, dude, I probably have french fries under my seat from who knows how long because I have a kid. Who the hell cares? Like, I don't understand when you have a missing stepdaughter and your husband is missing his child, why would that be important to you? That's my question. So thank you for bringing that up again, because seriously. It's crazy. So Melissa is the stepmother to Karlie. It's the craziest story. Absolutely craziest story. There's an episode that I did. It's about a half an hour, and I uploaded it on Friday, and it goes over the basics. But honestly, like, there's been 4 or 5. I mean, realistically, like between 3 and 5, maybe even more stories or variations of every single part of a story that we've been given. And this girl's missing. She's been missing for months now. She's been missing since the specific day is October 13th was the last day she was seen. In the early morning, or that's what we know to be true, and she's still gone. So it just sucks. It sucks, man. I'm not sure if her vehicle was damaged or not, or if she was just having it like cleaned and detailed. But if it was damaged, I'd definitely be curious on the records where she had that detailed. Like, if I was investigating this case, I'd be all over it. I would be trying to get, I'm trying to look at my kid here. I would be trying to get the detail records. I would want to know where she had her car detailed, what they did to it, and why. I'd want to know if she scheduled that appointment way in advance, or if she decided to schedule it after she went missing. I don't know. You were giving birth that day. Oh my goodness. So you'll remember that day for sure. Okay, so you did hear that her truck might have been damaged. So I wonder if that's where she's trying to say that Karlie took the wheel. Do we know if Karlie ever really made it home? Yeah, I'd like to know why she took her boys to her brother's house at 5:32 when she said that she was with Karlie all night in her bed, and that she texted her friend at 5:48 in the morning, and that she went to sleep right after that. So that doesn't make any sense. Do you mean, True Seeker, are you saying that she lied about the 5 o'clock time that she took her boys? See, we don't even know it's true. It's crazy. They have to be. I mean, I find it awfully interesting if they really do consider this just a missing persons case to this day. That's what's been stated. That's what was told to Dr. Phil. But again, we're just hearing what they're saying. We're not hearing what the sheriff's department is saying. So, okay, so the boyfriend did confirm that she went home. But do we know if she actually went home? Like, physically went home. I know she was picked up by Melissa, but did she make it home? Yeah, exactly. I agree, Casey. This is where we need to know about the boys, for sure. And the timeline, Mimi, for sure. Hey, guys, I'm going to get off of here because I need to go figure out what the little one's doing. He's either napping, fake napping, I don't know. We're going to do crafts. We're going to do something. But if you guys can think of anything that comes up, or you find any sources that you would like to throw my way, I would love to look into all of those. I'm super curious on this case. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what we can find out is the truth. So when you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again, it kind of allows you to separate the truth from the lies, because the truth is going to stay the truth, and those lies are those little things that change. So if there is a series of anything that you see, or contradicting information, or absolutely anything, or a case you'd like for me to look into, or if you just need a friend, I'm here, truecrimetruth@gmail.com. I might come back to, actually, you know what? I don't think so. Maybe the hubby works late tonight, so I'm not exactly sure, but I will see. Thank you for joining, Natalie, Truth Seeker, Sam I Am, Justice 4, Michelle, all my girls, Casey, M's Coffee Combo. All right, I'm going to do my pimp out of my channels one more time. If I miss you, drop your link in the comments here, and I'll get my people to check out your channel. So, Dab with a Phone. I can't remember I asked you Justice 4, but I can't remember. I don't think she has a channel, but Justice 4 is awesome. Dab with a Phone. J is for Justice. J is for Justice Live. Onique. This is Chaz. Irby Herb. Dab with a Phone. Dad TV. Reporting live from my sofa. John Crimes. Did I miss anybody? Did I do it all? Holy crap, I think I got them all in. Watch, I probably didn't, but that's good. Alright, I'm gonna go hang out with the little one, see what he's up to. I don't know, like I said, I think he's like half napped a couple times, but I can't figure it out, so I'll see what we can do. Until next time, mwah!